Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're having an awesome day. Today we're going to have an awesome day talking about the evolution of the drones over the last 2-ish years. And this is my good buddy Terry, which many of you will know from Cruising Off Duty.
Okay, folks.
We did that one episode together. Well, we did a bunch of episodes together when we were sailing on the Ottawa River.
Yep.
But what got started is when we started getting into drones. That's when he started showing up on the channel. We did my most popular video, which I think is over 100,000 views, where we took this drone, the Mavic Pro, and tried to fly it over the Ottawa River as far as we possibly could.
That was a cool day.
It was fun. But in hindsight, very dangerous. On my second day of owning the Mavic Pro.
Exactly.
We went out over the river, oh God, I forget how many, 15,000 feet or something.
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. So anyways, if you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link up in the top to that video. It is my most watched video on my Cruising Off Duty channel. And it was all about how far can we push the Mavic Pro and still have connection. And we were blown away by how far.
Totally blown away.
Yeah. So anyways, we want to talk about these drones. Some of them are mine, 2 of them are mine, and 3 of them are Terry's, and 1 of them is his son. So we've got the full collection of drones here, starting from the oldest, going through to the newest. And as you can see, oldest is big. And as we get newer, they get smaller. So we'll start with the very oldest and the very biggest. This was the one that started my Cruising Off Duty channel. I bought this drone in December of 2015, so just a little over 2 years, almost getting close to 2.5 years ago. Yeah. And at the time, this drone was competing with this drone. This is the Phantom 3 Professional. And I was trying to decide between these two at the time. I bought this one for a bunch of reasons. One was that it came with a pistol grip, which you could take the camera off the front and turn it into a motorized gimbal, which I thought was cool. It came with a case. Now, when you see this case, it's going to blow you away.
Yeah, these cases are wild.
This was the travel case it came with.
And it came with it, right?
Yes, it came included.
You didn't buy it extra?
No, and the Phantom 3 didn't come with a case.
No.
So there are a bunch of reasons that I went with the, it was called the Yuneec Q500 4K, and there was an earlier version that didn't do 4K, so this was the 4K model. And I loved this drone.
Oh yeah, it was quiet.
It's quiet. It flew quite a long distance. I mean, not compared to the Mavic, but a pretty far distance, and it had a pretty good flight time.
Yeah.
So I loved it. And I'll throw some footage of it. It did an amazing video. I'll throw some footage over top of us now of some of the stuff we did on the Ottawa River. But that sort of started my channel because I was flying around the Ottawa River, showing different anchorages, putting those videos on Facebook. Yeah. And then people at the club and the PN Sailing Club said, those videos are awesome on Facebook. The quality resolution, because Facebook down-reses everything, they were saying if you put it on YouTube, you get better quality because they'll keep it at whatever, 1080p or whatever you're filming at. And so I did. Yeah. And that started the Cruising Off Duty channel.
Do you remember the time you actually met a tree with that?
Yes. Yes.
That was cute.
This thing, yeah, just to compare them, this thing has absolutely no sensors. So it didn't have any obstacle avoidance technology, and Terry and I were just having fun again. He had just gotten this one.
That's right.
And we wanted to fly comparing each other. We did an episode about that, didn't we?
We did.
We compared the different drones. And he had this one, and it doesn't have any sensors either.
No.
No, not yet. Mine doesn't have any sensors, but we were out at the end of a field, and then we turned to go, I thought, behind a tree. Yeah. And it never came out the other side.
Never came out.
And I'm like, what? Where did it go? So we went looking for it. We had the hardest time finding it.
Oh, did we ever?
It ended up being way up in the tree. And the only reason we found it was because I could still see the feed of the footage. Yeah. And I could see the road of the cars going by. And I was trying to figure out, well, if the camera's seeing that and I'm standing where it should be, how come I don't see it? And eventually we figured out it was way up there.
And if you don't know Craig well enough yet, you'd think that would discourage somebody to actually break their only drone. And this was really special to Craig at the time. If you knew Craig back then, just 2 years ago, this was his baby.
I love this thing.
It didn't discourage him. Instead, the only thing he wondered about was how he was going to get the next drone that actually has more features, which is what he was looking now at the Phantom 3 at the time and other drones. So no, it didn't discourage him.
And you were luckily, I'm not a good tree climber, and Terry went up and poked it with a stick, and the thing fell like 25 feet to the ground, and it actually broke off the camera. So I had to rewire the mount on the camera. But other than that, this thing is a beast. It's actually bumped into a few things, and it's never had a problem.
Seriously.
You caught it a few times for me on my boat, and you could catch it, although it's not quite as structurally rigid as the Phantom 3 was, because it has 2 legs, like 2 on each side. This one has really 1 leg. Yeah. So when you grab, this is a heavy enough drone with the battery in it. it, feel like the leg flexes a bit, but at least you can grab it without getting your hand anywhere near the props.
Yeah.
So that's something you want when you're on a sailboat or a moving boat trying to catch your drone. This can do it. Obviously, the Phantom series can do it. So your drone was bought by your son.
That's right. Birthday present.
Birthday present. Nice son.
I know,
So anyways, he got him this, and that's when we started flying together. And we did that distance test with your drone versus my drone. And the Mavic definitely goes further than the Phantom 3 by far. But that's because it's OcuSync. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yep.
So that's the Phantom 3. And then your son went out and bought, well, I think I actually got my drone first, right?
Yes, you did. Yep.
So I got the Mavic Pro. So this was my upgrade from the Q500. And I loved this. I still do love this. I haven't even got another one since then because it does everything I need.
Sure.
And I got a lot of interest on my channel because the Mavic Pro was the hot drone at the time. And if you don't know, it folds and it gets much smaller than this. This is its biggest form. But this thing has OcuSync, which means it can fly a long way. Like I said, we tested it and it went out 15,000 feet. And the only reason we came back was because it told me my battery was getting low.
Yeah.
Not because I lost connection with the receiver, the controller. It said, yeah, you might want to come back, the battery's getting low. And we flew all the way back, so it would have been like, I think we worked it was like 32,000 feet of total flight. And then I still had 4 minutes of flight time. So the battery was being super conservative in how much time it had left, but better safe than sorry.
And consider that we were test flying this over water.
Yeah.
So here we were, 15,000 feet out. His battery's telling him, yeah, be careful now. And fly back over water.
Yeah. No other choice because we were on the other side of the water. I had to fly back over the water.
Yeah.
So that's why I say I look back now and go, wow, we were taking some risks because I've lost a Mavic in the wintertime over water for a battery error. So this was my second day owning the Mavic when I filmed that. And had I been flying back and all of a sudden it went, oh, battery error, into the water, I would have lost my drone on the very second day of owning it.
That's right.
So in hindsight, probably should have tested the distance over like a farm field or something where that if the battery goes out, the thing will auto land, and it would have auto landed on a field, not on a body of water. Yeah. So we were lucky, but it got a lot of interest. So yeah, we tested that. Yours has Lightbridge. This had OcuSync. Lightbridge is not quite as good for distance, but it still does a pretty good job. You went pretty far too.
I did, but I probably 2/3 of your distance.
Yeah, and you had the extra little things for your antenna for distance.
I had the distance ones built in. That's true. So that's an option you can get installed from third parties that really help extend the distance, but it would never still extend it as far as the Mavic Pro.
The Mavic just straight out of the box flies a lot further.
Yep.
So I had that, and then your son got the Phantom 4.
And he spoiled himself on that one.
Yeah, and that one has sensors on all sides, right?
Yep.
The Phantom was a step up from the Mavic in terms of sensors because the Mavic has sensors, obstacle avoidance sensors out the front and out the bottom, nothing out the sides, nothing out the back. So that was kind of the next step up from DJI, was to come out with a drone that has obstacle avoidance sensors on all 5 sides, really, all 4 sides and down, right?
It was very impressive.
Yeah, and it flies faster than everything else on this table.
Anything here. I was surprised at that looking at the specs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it does fly faster and longer than...
It's still Lightbridge though.
It's still Lightbridge.
No, it's still Lightbridge.
Yeah.
So it won't go as far as the Mavic, but now they've come out with a Phantom 4 Pro version 2 that does have OcuSync, so now they're using the same technology as the Mavic.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's good, and it's fast. Now, fast doesn't really matter to me. If you're a videographer, if anything, you're trying to get the slow panning moves. So having a drone that goes super fast really isn't that valuable to me because I usually want slow panning. The only time it might be valuable is if you're tracking a car going down the road or a motorcycle like I have, doing an aerial shot of the motorcycle going down the road and you don't want to drive at 30 kilometers an hour. You want to drive at 50 kilometers or 60 kilometers an hour. This might be able to keep up with you. And the Mavic won't. It's smaller. So.
And a new user also, I think, would be better off not flooring it because it gets away from you pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So
and you can lose sight of it pretty fast.
Oh, pretty fast. Yeah. So you just don't do that.
It's white too. I've always wondered about DJI making it white because against the light sky, the overcast white clouds or whatever, a white drone on a white background is really hard to spot. The Mavic, even though it's smaller, at least they've made it charcoal gray. Yeah. It's a little easier to spot against the sky. So I've never understood why they make their drones white, but yeah, it is what it is.
It is. Yep.
So now this is Terry's next baby. So this one I've never flown.
The Mavic Air. The Mavic Air. And of course it's Wi-Fi based. So it actually does very well from a distance perspective, but for most folks now, for most jurisdictions, you're not allowed to fly beyond your line of sight. So this product actually can get you several kilometers or miles worth. I think it's around 4 kilometers, about 2.5 miles, which is still very respectable, but that's way beyond your line of sight anyways. In theory, you shouldn't go past that. So this actually is very good for that. As small as it is, the stability is just out of this world. It has, of course, avoidance tracking both front and back. So if you head toward the woods...
It's got it on the back too, eh?
Yeah. You head towards the woods, it will actually go around things. It actually goes around things, which blows you away. You're going to head toward a wall of some type, and as long as it can get around the wall, there's openings on the other side, it will actually go around it itself. You just keep your dial going straight, it simply goes around and above.
Yeah.
That technology means for a lot of people who are not good at flying drones these days, let's say, this one would be perfect for you because you're not going to have an accident with it.
Yeah.
Very powerful, very fast. In sport mode, this thing is just blistering fast. And you know, all the way around, it's the size of an iPhone 7 Plus.
Yeah.
So, and you
show how it folds, because I was trying to figure out. The front ones fold, does the back ones fold?
Yeah, so these are actually numbered. So you'll see a number on these. So this is a 1 and that's a 2. So you're going to want to fold this down first.
Oh, it goes down. Okay,
yep.
I'm trying to fold it in like that.
Yeah, fold them down first,
okay.
And then fold them inward last.
I was just trying to fold them forward. I don't know why.
And the benefit here is that the whole thing fits in your hand.
Show that to the camera.
There are some folks who will display this as being put in your pocket. And you can do it. You can put it in your coat pocket if you wanted to and take it places.
Yeah.
Very small, very light, and yet high quality as we expect from DJI.
Now the cases for these smaller ones, like I have a Pelican case for my Mavic, which is already fairly small, but then I got a clamshell case, which I don't know what I've done with now. So this clamshell case, when the Mavic is folded up, will just go in here and have another smaller clamshell case for the controller, which is quite small when it folds up as well. And you can just throw this in your backpack whenever you're going traveling anywhere, go on a bike trip or whatever, just throw it in your backpack. And you've always got your 4K quality footage drone right in your backpack. Pull it out, fly, put it back, and be gone. Yeah. Before anybody knows you're even there. So.
And of course, one of the new features that the Air has, I'm suspecting every other DJI Forward will have, is it has the ability to store video right on it.
Yeah.
So in case you forget your card, it has one on it, so you don't have to worry about losing that footage, which is new for DJI. It's the first model like that.
I heard in the most recent Phantom 4 Pro, whatever the latest one is, that they no longer even have the SD card for your controller.
Okay.
Because I guess they're just putting a hard drive on the controller, and it's going to be like a buffer. Whatever your last flight is going to be there. So if your drone does crash, you'll still have footage if you download it from your controller without needing to put in that SD card.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So all the way around, it's been a fantastic addition to the droning community. Getting a lot of good feedback, even on windy days, which I found incredible. It's actually very stable. Not as stable as the Mavic Air. The Mavic Air's weight really helps. And this is
Mavic Pro, you mean?
It's Mavic Pro, that's right. The
This is the Mavic Air.
Yeah, that's right. So the Mavic Air isn't as good on some of the windy days. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's just not as good as.
Yeah, I think as you get smaller, then the wind just feels stronger for its size.
Yeah.
So, you know, the bigger drones can handle more wind, and then the Mavic can hold a little bit less wind before it starts to really, you know. But I'm always amazed, even though you see it visually, watch it, canting to compensate for the wind.
Yeah.
When you see the footage, it's still buttery
Pretty
smooth.
good, eh?
Like you're still like, I watched it twitching all over the place, and then when I see the footage, it actually looks normal. It doesn't even look like it's being blown around.
Yeah.
So have you found that with the Air?
I have as well. It's been
You
excellent.
see it moving, but then when you see the footage, it doesn't
It's
look
totally
moving.
stable.
Yeah.
One of the nice things about the Air 2, and a lot of folks have already commented on this on various other channels, is the sphere mode, where it can take off and go above your head. And what it does is it creates the illusion that you're leaving the world behind, and it creates a little globe of the world as where you were, and it goes up. Then it comes right straight down on you in the world. That mode is really quite sexy in terms of video quality.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about DJI is when a drone first comes out, it'll have X number of features, and then like they'll update the software, and next minute it has a new feature that you didn't have when you first bought it.
That's right.
And that's pretty cool. And we were talking about obstacle avoidance. I know for a fact, because I've watched Delos actually happened, SV Delos, their channel. They had one of these, and they were on an island, and there was a big rock structure that they were filming, and they went around to the back side of it.
Oh.
and then they lost signal. I guess the radio, they were also probably a little bit far, and then the rock structure was between them and the controller.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they like had no signal, and they couldn't get it back because the drone was just hovering on the other side of this rock, cliff, and they're like, what do we do? So eventually they're like, hopefully it'll just come back on its own. Sure enough, after a certain amount of time, and the battery gets below a certain level, Mavic will just, or any of these DJI products are smart enough to realize, I got to come back. So what it did, and they had the footage because it was recording the whole time, it actually flew directly towards this big rock wall, and it realized it couldn't get through. So you know what it did? It went up.
Ah, okay.
It kept going up until eventually it was above it, since there was nothing there, flew over it, and then back to them.
Yeah, very good.
It's very smart. So it'll either try go left and right. Maybe it might go, like it probably assumes it's like a tree or something. It might go 30 feet to the right, nothing, can't get through, 30 feet to the original left of where it started, still can't get through. It'll try and go up, and if it can get over, it'll do that. It'll just keep trying until it eventually finds a way to get back. It won't just give up and go, oh, well, I guess I'm dead, right? So
very smart. Some of the things I've noticed as well, and I'm talking about evolution of all these, coming back to the fact that when Craig and I had that experience in the tree, one of the things that I hear and see on the channels, other channels, is how the Mavic Air will go into the woods. And you have to admit, when you take your drone into the woods, it's probably the last thing you want to go. The branches, the trees are everywhere.
Vines hanging
Oh,
out,
it's just terrible. But what they show is how this actually keeps track of the branches in front of you and around you. So it will actually back itself up and go around, and you can continue throttling it forward because it'll find its way around trees. And that's just something from a droning perspective, I think, is really challenging under any other droning circumstance.
Right. No, it's awesome. So the evolution is continuing. Now, Terry's newest and cheapest, actually, drone, probably most fun, and so definitely indoors, because I've tried flying this indoors, and it can be a bit spooky. But tell us about the latest drone.
This is absolutely incredibly small, and before everybody discounts it and thinks it's a toy, the blade quality is the same as any one of the Mavic products.
And tell them the name of the product.
This is the Tello.
DJI makes this as well?
Yeah, DJI makes this through Tello. And this particular product is very small, as you can see. I mean, it literally is puny. But the quality of the camera is a 720, which is great for indoors. It's smooth. This will actually take off from your hand. In fact, you can start it up and throw it, and it will stabilize itself in the room. It's fantastic for indoor droning. You can't hurt it. I've tried, trust me. And it lands on your palm, so just simply show your palm out and it will bring it back into your palm. Very, very good drone. The mobility is fantastic. If you want to take it and go upstairs, go down, the camera is fantastic too. Some of the things I wanted to try, this is actually why I got this. I wanted to see what it was like. I thought about buying a couple of these and then having friends over and having sort of a game party.
Obstacle course.
Yeah, and just see who gets around the obstacle course fastest. It's just fun. It's not that loud, although it's indoors. I certainly wouldn't try it outdoors much.
Yeah, it gets caught by the wind a lot, because it's light.
Seriously, if you have anything that's like, I don't know, 5 kilometers an hour or about 2.5, 3 miles an hour or higher, you will literally take off, it will simply go, and you can't bring it back. So I would leave this for an indoor toy.
So it's an indoor drone, but you tell them the price. That's
$99.
And it came with a case?
It comes with a case.
It comes with a case. Now you fly it with your phone though, so it doesn't come with the controller, right?
It comes just with your phone. I am told you can buy a controller for it.
Probably more than a controller would be more.
That's right. Probably more than $99.
More than $99.
But you know what? The phone is great. Seriously, the quality, the video quality is really, really superb.
Well, 720 is plenty fine, especially when you're looking at it on a phone. You're just trying to use it to guide where you are.
That's all.
Right. And then you obviously can record it, but you may not publish it to YouTube if it's 720, or maybe you will. But the thing isn't really meant to be a videographer's drone. Like these other ones are really videographer's drones. I mean, even though it's smaller, this shoots. You said it shoots 4K?
Yeah, 4K.
4K. I mean, come on. This tiny little drone shoots 4K. That's amazing. Now, you can't expect that level of technology in something that weighs. I mean, you could literally, if I could balance it, I could lift this with one finger. That is so tiny.
Isn't it?
And for 99 bucks, like, you could play with it until you break it, and it's like,
who cares?
Blue 99 bucks.
There's no real gimbal on it to speak of, right?
It's actually seems pretty solidly built, though. Like, it doesn't feel like a toy.
Well, if you look at the actual chrome motors, I mean, these are made in good quality. Yeah. It's not cheap stuff.
So we're going to fly that in here right now, and we're going to show you what it looks like in here. I'll film and he'll fly, and it's got, the good thing about being prop guards is even if you bump a wall, you're not going to break a prop.
No,
so I have prop guards for my Mavic, and I don't use them because I tried them once in a forest, and I thought that would stop twigs and vines from going into the prop, and it really doesn't.
Just catches
doesn't. And the problem with this is if you get caught in a tree, if you get caught on a branch, now you're going to have a drone hanging from the tree 30, 40 feet in the air, and good luck getting it down.
Yeah.
So that's why I stopped using my prop guards. Mine were given to me by a company to try out back when I used to do all these tech reviews on my Cruising Off Duty channel. My channel is much bigger over there. I used to get all sorts of stuff sent to me, but I didn't think it was fair to the sailors who probably didn't care about drones or camera gear, so I started this separate channel. But I was getting a bunch of stuff when I was doing the Mavic Pro tutorial series, and prop guards don't really work for me. But indoors,
indoors is perfect.
Perfect. And the other thing about having prop guards on an outdoor drone is it just adds more windage.
It does.
So this drone is already light, but then you add all this extra plastic around the outside. That's just more for the wind to catch and to take it off.
Yeah, absolutely right.
That's why it's not good for outdoor windy conditions.
But you know, for people who just want to simply have a little bit of fun with a drone of any type, and they don't have a lot of money to invest in the drone, they just want to have some fun.
Yeah.
This is really it. The only caution is, again, people take their drones outdoors. I would be very cautious in doing that. But indoors, in your basement, having some fun, this is one you want to start with if you haven't got any other drone. It's just a lot of hoot.
It might be good for learning how to fly a drone too.
Yes.
So if you've got a teenage kid or a younger, tween that you want to buy them a drone, but you don't want to buy them a Mavic or an Air that's going to cost you, $1,000. You give them one of these, say, look, prove to me that you've got the skills, and maybe for Christmas or birthday I might get you something better. But this will definitely give you the skills for hovering and spinning and panning and doing all that stuff, and recording some video. So,
yeah, and it's fun, and it's fun.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, so the next footage will be the Tello flying in my house. All right.
Good luck with that.
See you soon. Okay, he's about to take off with the Tello. We're going to do a little flight, and then he's promised me that I get to try it, and it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, Craig gets to play after I get to play.
Yeah, I want to make sure he gets a chance to fly it before I crash it. So
no, it's the opposite way around usually.
All right, so let's see how it goes.
Here we go. So the nice thing about this is you can't hurt anything. You really can't. It's the kind of thing where if you want to play, this lets you play.
So while it's hovering there, bring the phone over to the camera and show them what the interface looks like. Bring it right up to the camera there. There we go.
So you can see the options on the left-hand corner versus the right-hand corner.
Yeah. So one is up, down, and left and right, and the other one's forward, backward.
That's right, and you can spin it around left and right. That's right. But you know what? It's very simple.
It just hovers there when you're not doing anything.
Nope.
Perfectly.
And you can't hurt yourself. But if I want to land this now, I'm going to go ahead and press the land button, and then I'm going to press the land to hand versus land on the ground. So you'll see there's two options, which is land on the ground versus land on your hand. And we're going to press that land on your hand one.
Okay.
And when I've done that,
it'll ask you if you're sure you want to do it, right?
Yeah, it'll ask to make sure you want to do this. I'll say yes. It detects your hand. So it can detect underneath this device, there still is the traditional DJI sensors.
Really?
Yes.
It's got sensors for 99
For
bucks.
99 bucks, it's got sensors.
Oh my God, I gotta get myself one.
So now, Craig, there's no trees here, so please come have some fun.
Okay. You film there, just make sure.
This is what Craig enjoys the most.
So which one of these, just the takeoff button?
Just takeoff button, yep, top left-hand corner.
All right, well, here goes. I had a bad first time trying to fly my Mavic Pro inside my house. It was over on the lower roof. We have a nice high roof here.
Oh yeah.
But on the other side it was a normal roof, and I went all over the place. It was not good. Off. That's all I did. How does it decide how high you have to film up?
It actually does that for you automatically. It just goes to a certain height and stops.
So now I'm going to just orientate it. I'm going to pivot left. Now I'm going to go forward. Nope. Reverse. Okay. I don't know which way. I was saying this earlier. The front and the back on this look identical.
No, they're all standing behind it.
The weird thing is the smaller side is the front and the wider side is actually the back, which throws me off. So now I want to go up a bit. I'm going to go over towards the...
Now, this is great for indoors.
It is so good.
This is an indoor drone.
Okay, coming back.
Probably a parent's worst nightmare at times because you're flying a drone indoors. But even if you chose, now you probably won't, if you want to choose to actually hit one of your walls, it won't damage anything.
I'll let you hit your drone against the wall. I don't want to break it.
Come on, Greg.
I'll go left. So you can go forward, backwards, obviously, left and right.
Is everybody catching the smile on his face? This guy just loves
For
the
$99
toys.
now, I'm like,
He loves the toys.
and you were saying that they don't really advertise this very much.
You can't find these. If you go to the DJI website, you will not find this. You have to Google DJI Tello, T-E-L-L-O, and then you'll have a link. Otherwise,
So I'm going to just do the land in my hand mode. Hand in hand, yes. And don't put your fingers up when you do it. Otherwise I will get zapped. So,
it's true.
Alrighty, awesome.
Isn't it?
Get it off my hand.
Like it's
like a spider.
$99.
Yeah. So, yeah, for $99 I think I'm going to have to pick one of these up. Just for shits and giggles. Then we can do the little obstacle course thing you were saying.
Absolutely.
Like in my house, it's kind of a round thing. There's a center, pan over that way and just kind of show. So there's kind of like a staircase thing over there. So I go around through my dining room to the family room, then back around into here. So we could actually do races.
This would be good.
Laps around.
Oh, this would be really good actually.
Yeah,
He has the height of the ceiling, which is like...
pan up, you'll show I got the cathedral ceiling.
I don't know
here.
how tall this is. What, 20 feet maybe?
Way well over here. Over there it's kind of a normal, well it's a little high there, but it's really high here.
It's really high.
So this would be a good spot to set up an obstacle course. So
We should do it.
$99. Okay, so that's the Tello. I got to say I'm super impressed. Super impressed. Again, it's a little hard to tell which side's the front and the back. He said you look for the blinking light. That's the front, which is kind of opposite of most of the drones. Because I don't know. Anyways,
You're right.
anyways, the blinking light is the front, and the wider side is actually the back. But once you get figured out, then going forward and backwards is more intuitive. Love this thing. Definitely going to probably pick one up.
Keep in mind that the camera doesn't flex, right? Up and down,
Yeah.
there's no gimbal. So you will actually have to, your height, its height is what you're actually videotaping.
We didn't even record.
No.
We could have recorded.
Yep.
Should we fly it again and record?
Ah.
How do you get this? How do you get the video off this?
It stays on the device, and then from there you transfer it back.
Okay, so that would be a little hard for me to get off your phone.
So
okay,
you can just say, rather than saying hello, you can say Tello.
Tello. All right, that's it for it. Hope you enjoyed this episode on the evolution of the drone over the last 2+ years, from the really big to the really
real
small. So that's quite the evolution, considering 2.5 years isn't that long.
Not long.
And there was nothing, well, not much smaller than this on the market for the hobby drone back then. This was kind of normal.
Yeah.
This and this were the normal drones two-ish years ago. It's amazing, the technology improvement.
Incredible.
All right. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If so, give it a like. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.
See you later.
Bye. Switch for a second. Yeah. No, I'm just trying to decide which side of my face looks better. Okay. Today we are going to talk about the evolution of drones, and I've got my good friend with me, Terry. Starting over.